and welcome to my video. This is going to be a sort of vlog knitting video where I bring you with me as I knit the Painting Triangle socks by Stephen West. It's part of a series that I've been doing on my channel, and this is the third one. So I've previously knit the Painting Brick socks and the Cable Trellis socks, and now on the 23rd of February 2023, 23/2/23, I have started knitting the most recent release by Stephen West. This pattern came out I think on the 7th or 8th, and pretty excited to work on it. It's triangles, and it looks a little bit easier than the Cable Trellis socks, which were really hard, and I had to rip out a bunch of times to get them to be perfect. I really wanted a change from the yarn that I was using and with the color scheme, and I really wasn't a fan of the color scheme in the initial pattern. So I have chosen some kind of low contrast, more rustic, non-superwash yarn, and I'm really liking the way that it's knitting up so far. It's by Woolly Mammoth Fiber, and so I'm using two colors. I don't really remember the names, and the cakes are so nicely wound, I don't want to pull the thing out of the middle. But this I think was the hearth sock, and then this was like just her normal sock base. But this is like a really pretty variegated pink with some yellows, and then this is like I think it's dyed on a gray base. And this has been staining my fingers, just something to note. But they're really nice together. Initially I was worried there wasn't going to be enough contrast, but there is. So here's what I've got so far. I knit this on the train yesterday, and when I got home, so I did cast on for the third size. I read on the forum that this sock has quite long floats of 5 stitches, and I am best with my float tension on 9-inch circulars. So I decided to knit this pair on the 9-inch circulars, and it's going well. I'm really enjoying it. The yarn is really nice. I don't really have anything else to tell you at the moment, but I'll check in with you when I've gotten a little bit more done. I'm about halfway through the leg now. It's really going fast, and I think that it's really pretty. I also just wanted to make something really cute, and I think that these are cute. If I have enough left over of this one, I think I'll make the Sari Norland Midnight Dancer socks with the lace in them, because I think this is just a cute yarn. So it's satisfying my cute requirement, and it's been an enjoyable knit so far. So I'll maybe check in with you when I've finished the leg. Hello, sock lovers. I thought that I would give you a check-in for my Painting Triangle sock because I finished the first one. Here it is. It's a little lumpy. It's lumpy because the fabric on the top is shorter than the stockinette on the bottom. If you look at this, so the triangles are made by slipping stitches. So like this row, the row at the top of the triangle, you only knit 1 in 5 stitches for 2 rows. So it makes sense that the fabric is much shorter, and you don't notice the difference in the fabric length on the top of the foot because it's all like that. But on the bottom you have it like attached to stockinette, so the stockinette's actually much longer. I think that that will actually be fine, especially with the yarn that I've used, because apparently when yarn felts, it shrinks. I've never actually noticed this with me. I don't think I've made a pair of socks in non-superwash yarn that didn't get destroyed kind of quickly. Like nothing ever had the opportunity to felt that I have noticed. but apparently when it felts, it shrinks. So this should even out. It does fit well. Now it doesn't really matter that the bottom is a little bit longer than the top, because if you think about like the shape of a foot, there are more contours in the bottom than there are in the top. Also, you know, it's a pretty stretchy fabric. There's a siren. It's a pretty stretchy fabric, so it doesn't really matter. The only thing about these socks that I don't like is there's one line that's really tight, and it's this, I think it's this, the row where you're slipping 5, so you've got really long floats right before the heel flap. That's quite difficult to get over my heel. I can get them on, and once they're on, they're great, but for the next sock, I'm gonna leave like a lot more slack for that one row. So if you're knitting these, I'd recommend whatever that row where you're slipping 5 right before the heel flap, make that really loose. I think that the trade-off between like catching a toe in it is worth it to be able to definitely get it on. I'm loving the yarn. I don't have a sock blocker. I wish I did so that I could make it look really nice. But especially this lighter pink color has so much yellow in it. It's really pretty. Definitely would use this yarn again, and I will, because I've got a lot of it. I bought a bunch of it in November, and the person behind Woolly Mammoth Fibers did a DK weight shop update recently, and I was like really having to restrain myself from buying a sweater's quantity because I've been enjoying working with the yarn a lot. I just bought a sweater's quantity of Spin Cycle, so there's no way that I'm buying another sweater's quantity of expensive yarn before I knit. Like, I have to knit like 2 more sweaters out of my stash before I would want to buy a sweater's quantity. I also have everything that I need, but the pictures on Instagram are so beautiful. The colors look so rich and vibrant. I really commend whatever their name is. I don't know their name, but the Woolly Mammoth Fiber person does such a good job. And also the marketing's really good. It really sucks you in. So I'm very glad to have this. I'm gonna use up all of the sock yarn that I bought from her. And then once it's all used up, once I've knit a couple of sweaters, if there's another shop update, maybe I'll buy a sweater quantity, but I'm not gonna get sucked in. I just flew through this. It took me like 3 days. The second one has gone a little bit slower because I've been essay writing, but sometimes I like to pace myself, and so I don't like use all of my focus at once. I'll work for 45 minutes and then knit for 10 minutes and then like go to the bathroom for 5 minutes or something like that. Or sometimes instead of knitting, I'll do some reading just to mix up what my brain is doing. So even though I've been writing an essay, and I probably would have gotten this done faster if I had no responsibilities like school, it's not a bad project to be working on because you can knock out a couple rounds in 10 minutes. So I've cast on the cuff of the next one. I did that on the train yesterday. It's not much to show, just looks like the cuff to this one. I don't think that there's really anything to say about anything I did special in the foot. The foot's maybe a little bit longer than I would normally knit, but I made a bit of a shorter toe, similar to the cabled trellis socks. You have a different number of stitches on the top of the foot than on the bottom of the foot, and I guess most other people have, there's 2 approaches to that, which is if you want a longer toe, you can knit the bottom without any decreases and then decrease the top at the normal rate and then just start decreasing the bottom when they're the same number. Or for a shorter toe, which is what I did, you can just evenly decrease down on the top first and then you've got less stitches. So that's what I did. It fits really well. I honestly stopped looking at the pattern after I knit the first 20 rows. I just knew I knew what to do. So it's difficult to say what I did that deviated from the pattern. Once you knit one of these sort of socks, and you figure out what you like, it's pretty easy to just apply that formula to the other socks. So I'm not sure if I did anything weird. I just approached it normally. At the point where the heel flap ends, I kind of just fudged it to get my yarns back around to the same place. I think that the reality is that you're not going to notice if you've got one extra row of one color somewhere. And I would much rather do that than cut the ends, weave them in. So yeah, I think on this side, when I picked up after the heel flap, there's 2 rounds of the darker pink. And then on this side, there's 1 round. But I'm very happy with it. I'll show you the inside. And then I think I'll see you when I'm at another good point to show you. This is what the inside looks like. I've just lost the light behind a cloud. The sun went behind a cloud. So I hope you can still see. But yeah, you've got these pretty long floats. It's not causing really any issues except for this one right here. And yeah, you can really see how the top is shorter than the bottom. So that's my update. See you soon. Hello, it is Thursday, the 9th of March, and I finished my painted triangle socks. Here they are. I finished these last night. I just had one more set of triangles to go and the toe to knit, so I did that. And all in all, this was a very enjoyable, quick pair of socks that was still fun to knit. I think that they went so much faster than the cabled trellis socks. And I really enjoyed knitting with this yarn. I had never knit with it before. It's the Woolly Mammoth Fiber sock yarn. Yeah, I really enjoyed the color combination. It's a bit more low contrast. It doesn't really look that low contrast now that it's done. But the pink has lots of this beautiful yellow and a couple speckles of purple in it. Yeah. For the second sock, I reversed the direction of the triangles because they're like right angled triangles. So I thought that it would be nice to do a bit of a mirror, if you can see. And that was just really easy to do. I think it's pretty self-explanatory once you've knit the pattern. And yeah, the second sock is exactly the same as the first. I think I accidentally knit an extra row in the ribbing at the top, but that's not a big deal at all. And I don't have that much more to say about these, other than that I love them. These are colors that I wear a lot. This is the Moonlight Tee by Knitting for Breakfast, which I made a couple years ago, but it's not a size inclusive pattern, so I don't feel like I can recommend it now. But they have other patterns that are size inclusive now, and I think that some of them are cute. So that's what this shirt is. I like to normally block the bottom into points, and I actually also normally block the sleeves out quite a bit, but I don't have blocking mats here and I needed to wash this, so it's not really pinned out the way I would normally like it. So I think that this is going to be quite a bit of a shorter one, so maybe I'll include some bonus sock knitting information at the end. Fergus? Fergie, come here. You okay? I weighed up the yarn after I was done, and I've used about 20 grams of the light color, so not very much, and about 40 of the darker color. So it really doesn't use up a lot of yarn. I made size 3. They both fit really well, which is great. And I'm definitely gonna use this yarn more. I have a couple of more skeins of it, so I'm excited to keep using it. My cat is scratching at something. He's always causing trouble. That's the Painting Triangle socks. I think if I had to rank all of the sock patterns so far from the year, it would go, I think these ones would be at the top as my favorite. And then the Painting Bricks, and then the Cable Trellis socks. The pattern for the next pair came out 2 days ago, so I'm on track. That's pretty exciting, especially considering how I was 2 pairs of socks behind at one point. So I'm gonna start knitting those soon, and yeah, I'll check in with you later about my next sock knitting plan. Hello, it's the 15th of August today, about 5 months since I recorded my last update. I just hadn't gotten around to editing the video, although there wasn't very much editing to do, and a lot of time has passed, so I thought that I would give you an update on how the socks have been wearing. I haven't been wearing them much over the summer as it's been very hot, but I've maybe had like 5 or 6 good days of wear, and I've washed them twice. To wash them, I put them in a delicates bag, and I did a cold, gentle wash in my dryer, and then, not in the dryer, in the washing machine, and then I hung them to dry, and they turned out totally fine. Here's one of them. I'll show you. This is what the heel flap is looking like. So, pretty felted. A little bit of sort of horizontal pilling, and they're really not stretchy on the heel flap anymore. But if you look at the bottom of the foot, they're wearing very well. Here's the other sock. So, yeah, I've really been loving wearing them. That one row around the beginning of the heel flap that I was thinking was quite tight has loosened up a good amount over time, and I think that the pattern has kind of settled in, if that makes sense. Like, it's not lumpy at all anymore. The bottom of the foot never ended up shrinking the way that I thought that it might, because they say that if it felts, it will shrink lengthwise along the stockinette, so that never happened, but it's okay because it still fits well. A lot of cat hair has become incorporated into the soles of the feet, but I guess that's only made it stronger. And all in all, I really rate this yarn. I think that it's really nice. I really have been enjoying working with it. I've now made a bunch of other pairs of socks with it, and I would definitely recommend it if it's in your budget, if it's in your price point. It seems like it's holding up really well. I am quite hard on my feet. I wear through socks. I think store-bought socks I almost always wear through. Handmade socks I busted the bottom out of a couple pairs. So this is pretty good, and it's no nylon, so that's kind of maybe a bit surprising even. It's still not the softest, but I really can't complain about the wear. They look really good, and other than that one patch at the back of the heel, which is where my socks always wear out, which I guess is why that's where you would put the reinforcement on a heel flap, they look pretty much as good as new. I don't know if this is like gross. I have washed these since I last wore them, but here's what the inside looks like. And on the inside you can see a lot more of the felting. You can see that that is basically totally felted along with some cat hair, and then also there's a bit of felting on the sole of the foot, but not much. This is still quite stretchy, whereas this is not. There's my floats. And I didn't expect to be giving such a long testing period to this yarn, but I thought that since I'm here and I hadn't uploaded the video yet, I may as well just record a little something extra to add into the end of the video. So hopefully I'll be uploading this video today or tomorrow, and I hope that all of you are well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time. Goodbye.